Hey guys, it's Megan and I am back with you guys for a plan with me, and this is for the week of December 30th through January 5th. So this is my first plan and my new planner, which I'm going to be doing like a planner setup. I know it's taken a while. But I'm going to be doing it soon. I usually, most people seem to have these up before 2020. I've just been taking it easy and trying to make sure I'm using the planner the way that I want to. So that is why I don't yet have that up. Anyway, the kit that I'm using this week is Roaring 20s from Saucy Stickers Co. You can see I already have all of my full boxes down, along with my sidebar pretty much finished. Water got onto here, so it totally screwed that up. But I'm changing things up on my sidebar starting this year. So meals here, habit trackers here, and then I need to figure out, I want to make this like a list of sorts. What I'm reading, what I'm watching, what I'm listening to, because I pretty much listen to just podcasts these days. I rarely listen to music. And so I want to get, I'll probably get with Allie from Peachy Plans and have her make me some scripts that say like maybe what I'm and then RWL. But it was in this really dark, color for this here, checklist. So I just had to pull out a white, pen, a white jelly roll pen to fill that in, which was fun to add that and make it a little bit different. So yeah, this is the spread. Again, first time in this planner, first time having a neutral planner, and having this different layout from the colorful planner that does have already has the colored headers, so you kind of know where to put things. I don't know if this is perfect. I don't know if it's just that these were smaller than I feel like most bottom washi. I did have to do some whiting out. I have this Tombow whiteout, because the usual one that I had, that I just keep at home, looked really gray. So I decided to check out those that a lot of people seem to use, and that seemed to go really well. So yes, again, Roaring 20s kit. This is all the other stickers that I'll be jumping into to use for this, along with some script stickers. Again, a bunch of icons and character type stickers. And then I did pull some of the hexagons from Saucy Stickers Co. I've got 3 different ones because I'm trying to meet all of the colors that are in here. Mostly this blush pink, this grayish blue, and then this black color here. And then I pulled just some of these little squiggles from Cactus Paper Company that I might add in there. And then just some stuff from Clever Gal Crafts. We'll see if I use those. So let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, jumping in. Was anybody else so ready for this week to just be the new year? Having New Year's in the middle of the week? I'm just no. Today is the beginning of the new year. It's the first day of the week. It's the beginning of the new year. So I was real excited to get going. Although I have then since hit a wall, and it's only week 2 that I'm filming this voiceover. I'm going to try to shamelessly multitask here by placing some stickers down in my ECLP while I'm kind of chatting with you guys about this week. So, this kind of felt like an extension of the week before in that I just wasn't very busy. I didn't really have much plans for working that week. So I just kind of took it easy. I was really looking forward to the party that we had. We did have a Roaring 20s themed party that we went to. And that was a lot of fun. It's the first year I, myself, was not actually... I need to be near this, don't I? Sorry. Those are my dogs. The first year in a while that I wasn't actually the one hosting a party. So that was a little bit different, but also really nice to not have to worry about like the cleanup and stuff after the fact. So yeah. Then, so I'm just trying to think of what I did on Monday. This whole multitasking thing was probably the worst idea. I love these little scribbles that I put down from, who is that from? Why can't I think of that? The Cactus Paper Co. I love those. I think they're so much fun. I bought like one in every color, and I wish I'd gotten more. Or like if she does, I'd have to go look and see if she does like solid sheets of a specific color. Ones that I could see myself using over and over again, maybe. So this week in my sidebar routines, or my habit trackers, it was flossing an AM routine. And I think I kind of talk about this, later on at the end of the video with my, how I went with my habits. But flossing, I nailed it. I am not great at flossing, but I'm trying to get better, and we get those pics. So I made sure to floss every night. And then the AM routine, I discovered I don't actually, like, I'm like, AM routine. I don't have an AM routine. So I feel like I need to kind of create one before I try to stick to it. So we're on week 2 and I still don't have it. And that's like more of a set time to get up. But I've not been sleeping real well. Like I can't seem to go to bed before like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I don't want to be starting my morning at like 10 o'clock. So I need to start getting better at going to bed. So maybe I need to start there. And like maybe this week it's go to bed at a decent time. Although I would have already failed that for yesterday. Because I was definitely up until like 1 o'clock again. I have this goal of reading 30 minutes a day, and I didn't do that. And I just consider that like my reading for 30 minutes a day last night happened after midnight, so it was on Tuesday. But since I hadn't yet gone to bed, I consider that fine. So it's Tuesday, and I'll have to read for at least 30 minutes again today. Sometimes I read for a lot more, especially if I've got an audio going, an audiobook. I could be listening to that for like 2 or 3 hours as I'm just doing stuff around the house. But sometimes reading can just, like, finding the time to sit down and read is difficult for me. I am a multitasker. Like, it's hard to just sit down and watch TV without constantly doing something. So last night was like, oh, it's 12. I worked until just after 10 at the studio, and then I got home and I had to kind of wind down, and so I didn't even go to bed, I think, until like 11-ish, 11:30. Like I just sat on my couch playing on my phone. And so then I'm like, oh, I still got to get my reading in. But that didn't even like occur to me until after midnight. So I'm like, oh, got to squeeze this in. So I did. And I'll make sure to be more cognizant of it going forward, just having that forced reading 30 minutes. I used to read like a fiend. I mean, I would get like 10 books from the library at a time when I was younger, and I'd read 3 of them at once. And so I'd like read through all these books so fast, and then I'd have them all returned in 3 weeks, and I would do the cycle over again. I think with Netflix and stuff like that, it's just made it really difficult to do. Like, putting on a TV show and multitasking is so much easier than trying to read a book and also multitasking. And you've really got to focus on a book, I feel like, in some instances. I am trying to become more, like, paying attention closer to the shows I'm watching, because this year I'm watching nothing but new shows, and that is difficult because I really have to focus on those, and it's hard for me to, like, put my phone down or put my computer away. So it's going to be a work in progress, but I'm going to do it. I'm currently, this week, I binged the second season of You, the second season of Insatiable, and then the second season of Good Girls. I finished You in a day. So stinking good. If you've not watched it, it's so good. I love, it's like a thriller. If you don't know what it's about, it's on Netflix, and it's a thriller of a guy who, like, is obsessed. Like, he stalks people. And season 2 was so much better than season 1. they kind of do a lot of flashbacks into his childhood, so you kind of have this understanding possibly of where this is coming from. And then, of course, it leaves you on a really good cliffhanger. And I like that they did, they had like a lot more characters that they would focus on in this season instead of just being like the main character. So I enjoyed that. And then I binge watched Insatiable 2, which also so much better, I think, than the first season. A lot of people I'd read, I hadn't watched Insatiable because most people were talking about how it felt very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it was fat shaming. And as a plus size curvy girl myself, I mean, I'm not like easily offended, and I thought it was hysterical. The first season I thought was so stinking funny. This girl's just crazy, like, and just, you know, being a plus size girl and then suddenly losing a bunch of weight due to not being able to eat normally for a while. You know, it's that, you know, for a teenager who's already going through a bunch of stuff, I mean, I can imagine it could be something like that, where suddenly you find yourself in this hot new body and don't know how to handle it. So season 2 though gets so much darker. That's like a dark comedy. I think it's so much darker than season 1, and it is so funny. I like that kind of stuff, so I definitely enjoyed season 2. And then I watched season 2 of Good Girls. If you haven't seen that one I think is on like Fox or something. I don't know for sure. But that is about these women. If you've seen Mad Money, it kind of reminds me of Mad Money with, who is it? Diane Keaton. Is it Diane Keaton, Queen Latifah, and Katie Holmes? I can't remember. Where they work, like they steal money from the place where they destroy like overly worn money. We call that mute money when I worked in the bank. Oh, that overlapped a little bit. That's okay. So this is them. These women decide to rob a grocery store, and then it's just the endless shit show that happens after that. And that is also like a dark comedy, and that's very good. I really like that one. Let me kind of just jump back in here real quick. So Tuesday was, of course, New Year's Eve. My husband made me breakfast in bed, which was so sweet. I was going to go get blood work done this day, but then I'm like, oh, well, this is definitely not fasting, so I ate that. And then we had a really awesome Roaring 20s themed New Year's party. I had a bunch of fun getting dressed up, and I was really nervous because I took a nap and I woke up feeling really sick. And I was like, I go to my husband, I'm like, are you feeling okay? And he's like, you're not getting out of this. And I have this terrible tendency of, I get really anxious about doing stuff. And I've gotten actually a lot better since I went on medication. But anytime we would have friends over, I would be so obsessed with getting my house cleaned and perfect that I would actually just make myself so sick that I would have to go and lay down. Like when our friend showed up, I'm in bed for like a solid hour before I can get up and actually start participating in games and stuff like that. So my husband's like, you're not getting out of this. I'm like, no, I want to go to this. I just want to make sure, is it like the dinner I'd made the night before? Is it something we both ate and are we both feeling sick, or is it something else? Especially because that day, all I'd had, I think, I had the breakfast in bed, and then my sister and I went out. It says we did a lunch together, but she really ate and I didn't. I just had some of her fries. And so I'm like, I can't imagine it was the fries that made me feel like this. So it was just an off day. But I did get myself ready, and we did go out and we did have a blast. And of course, we were like home and in bed by like 1:30 or 2 or something, which that's only because they live like half an hour out from where we live. So it was a drive back home. And then New Year's Day was kind of a day. Relaxing. One of my big, I had one challenge really for last year. I'm just taking a look. Oh, I really got into the Road to Jonestown on Wednesday. I really just like dived deep into that. My only real challenge of 2020 or of 2019 was to not eat fast food. Which I worked out of the home for so long, and that was pretty common, was to eat fast food or eat out a lot. So I I'm like, I'm not eating fast food this year. And I did a really good job of not doing it. And so I was real excited. And then my husband later came to me and he's like, I just want to let you know how proud I am of you that, you did it. You went 12 years without, or 12 months, the whole year without eating fast food. He goes, and because of that, he wasn't eating fast food. Although he did once when he was stuck overnight in an airport in, I think, Minneapolis. And he's like, the only thing that was open had been a McDonald's. But other than that, he didn't eat fast food either. And he's like, and I'm really proud of you for not instantly running out and getting fast food. And I think this is like the second or the third. And I'm like, that's just because I'm too lazy to run over to, like, I don't live that far from a McDonald's. But I'm like, I'm just too lazy to actually bother to run over there. So yeah, I was real proud of myself for accomplishing that. No fast food. Except I do it at Jimmy John's, but I'm like, they're not like your deep fried fast food. It's not like eating McDonald's or Wendy's or, God forbid, Taco Bell. That's like, in my view, that's just the worst of the worst is Taco Bell. It's a sandwich. So, yeah, I was feeling pretty dang good about that. Thursday was a pretty high, like, honestly could not for the life of me remember what I did on Thursday. I know I did film a bit of Black Friday haul, and I did get a bunch of editing for that done. I talked to my sister a lot on the phone. She was going through a bunch of stuff that day. And then I listened to the MFM podcast, and then I was listening to the Witch Bitch Amateur Hour podcast. But I'm like, could not for the life of me think of what I did on Thursday. It was just one of those random days. I guess I didn't suppose. I thought that was her talking to my sister. I know I talked to her. Her ex was being an ass. And then Friday, that was my mom's birthday, but I didn't see her. I had to go get blood work done, and I leave a really big gap in here to fill in, of course, after the fact. I talked to my doctor about, like, I stopped eating fast food. I got a lot more active this past year. However, I found myself not losing weight that I think in the typical way that people would. And, a lot of people say, like, losing weight starts in the kitchen. It starts with how you eat. Well, I'm like, I'm not eating out. We cook a lot at home. I make sure to have, like, balanced meals. And I've become a lot more active. And so I wasn't quite, and we don't keep junk food in the house. So we don't keep a lot of snacks and stuff like that in the house. So I couldn't quite fathom why this wasn't, why this hadn't been working. And I just kind of chalked it up to, well, pole is very, like, there's a lot of, like, strength training in pole because you're using your body as the weights and you're, like, twisting yourself around and you're, like, flipping yourself, all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's just muscle. So that was really disheartening. And when I was talking to my doctor about it, she's like, some people, you might just need to do this, like, eat 5 cups of fruits and vegetables a day. And, she's like, you'll find yourself eating less of other things, which is really difficult. There's not a lot of fruits I like to eat. And she goes, have you ever been tested? Has your thyroid ever been tested? I'm like, not as far as I know. So she made a note to have me get my my thyroid checked. And this is back Christmas Eve is when I went to the doctor. So I just finally made it in to get my lab work. I kept forgetting to, like, fast. And then she called me Friday night and said, I don't know what it is. The number was higher than it should be, I guess. So I need to go back in and have it checked again. And she said, if this is it, we can get you started on some medication. And I was excited because, like, she was like, apparently you can have like a lot of fatigue and being really lethargic. I can nap every single day. I nap most days. I'm certain if you've been watching these Plan With Me's, you see that I nap constantly. So this was like, if the medication will help with that fatigue, and I'm hoping it will then keep me from being, like, super about going to pole class. I don't know if pole class just is, if pole's not for me or whatnot, but it's just, we'll find out. I'll keep you updated. And then my sister and I just hung out a bit, and I'm on the hunt for the best French toast in town. I found a really good one. We went to this, like, it's called Spirit Dreams. I bought a crystal and some tarot cards and some rose absolute oil for a cleansing bath type thing that I'm going to do. I'm reading this book called Witch by Lisa Lister, and I'm really enjoying it. I am trying to, one of my goals for January is to create a budget, which is, for me, easier said than done. I'm not very good at this. My husband and I are both spenders, so we're working on it. Saturday morning, I got up and just enjoyed some coffee and binged several more hours of Road to Jonestown. I need to have it finished by the 17th for book club. So I've got a little less than 2 weeks to get it finished. And it is just not what I thought. If Road to Jonestown is about Jim Jones and the Jonestown Massacre, that's where they have the phrase, most people say drinking the Kool-Aid, and I believe the actual phrase was drinking the Flavor-Aid. But that's where that saying comes from, is from Jonestown. So it's about a cult and stuff like that. And that, it's just not what I expected. I read a lot of true crime books, and this is just not what I expected. Then again, I felt the same kind of about Ted Bundy. Like, you try to pinpoint things in their lives that cause them to take this, road of no return. And like, from the one book I read about him, which was The Stranger Beside Me by Anne Rule, it, like, I don't know. To me, he just didn't have a good, like, some of them have very clearly problem childhoods. And his didn't seem to be that terrible. So there's that argument of nature versus nurture. Is that just who he was? And it wouldn't have mattered how he was raised? They do say, like, a lot of like serial killers and stuff like that are highly intelligent. And as children, that wasn't like done. Like, they weren't challenged enough. They didn't have a way to focus their intelligence. And so that is one of those things that could then lead them to problems later. I'm not saying that's the case for everybody, but that has seemed to be, like, Ted Bundy was a very intelligent person. He was, in the book there, he was like the darling of the Republican Party at one point. So it's just crazy to see where they go. And the same thing for Jones, Jim Jones. Like, his mom didn't really care for kids that much. His dad was an alcoholic, and he was kind of left to do his own thing and have free reign. But that seems like a lot to then end up being who he was. So yeah, again, nature versus nurture. His mom did put in his mind that he was like this, he was going to be this amazing person and that he was going to do such amazing things. And so maybe that's it. It's just this idea that your mom has put you on such a high pedestal and then doing that and it gets to your head. I don't know. What else Saturday, that was my morning. And Saturday, the studio that I take pole classes at and work at, we had our staff Christmas party at a bowling alley, and that was fun. I didn't bowl. I don't like bowling. I find bowling to be such an awkward sport. I never know what to do. I never know if I'm like, do I stand here and watch the ball? Do I walk away nonchalantly? I don't know. I did do a bowling league when I worked at the bank. We did one, and it was, I didn't realize when I signed up for it that these are like legit bowlers, which I am not. But everybody was really fun. Anyway, they're like, oh yeah, you guys must be from the bank because you clearly are not pros. And it's true, we were clearly not pros. But we had fun, and I only had to do that like once a month. So, but this was just like, there was a bunch of us there. It was crazy. And I'm just like, I'm perfectly happy sitting in my comfortable little bubble here by myself. I sat and chatted with another girl for a long time, and other people would come around. I didn't know a lot of them. I'm a backup there, so I don't get to see the instructors and other people like regularly. So it can still just be a little bit awkward for me. And I was not feeling particularly social that night or that day. And I was supposed to go hang out with my sister that night. And I'm just like, I just want to be home. And she's so good because she understands. She has similar things where it's just like, I just don't have it in me. And Sunday was just a lovely, lazy day. I did get a bunch of laundry done. But other than that, I kept it pretty easy that day. I know I started this video saying I was multitasking. I got all the way through March with the sticker that I'm putting down. So, and it's just one sticker a month. So I didn't do that great. I want to get these done so then I can film my setup for my 2020 planner. What did I put in here that I watched? I don't even remember. Don't mind me. This is why I have my planner in front of me, and I usually have it open, and I'm usually following along as I do it. Oh, this is my film plan with me. That was it. I did film this plan with me. I had a YouTube binge during the day. I love doing that. Watching plan with me. I was looking for like budgeting ones, and I'm going to look for like where people put their cleaning schedules, like how that works, because I want to do that. So I know like what days should be cleaned when and stick to that schedule, because I tried to do that when I first left the bank, and that was really difficult for me. And then for dinner that night, I made pancakes and sausages because I was just like, I just want Brenner. So we made Brenner. And yeah, I have my kit for this week. The base is laid down. And so that plan with me will be coming up. And I've got some hauls that will be going up. And it's probably going to be the next couple weeks might be like video heavy weeks. But we shall see. All right, I'm going to go live here and finish this out. All right, guys, that is my spread for the week. Yeah, it was not a super exciting week. Last week was kind of a vacation week, and it kind of just leaked its way into this week. So, there are things that I am, of course, working on. As you see here, and I'll cut this out if I already mentioned this. My habit trackers for this week were flossing every night and then an AM routine. And it occurred to me that I don't actually have an AM routine, so I need to kind of create one. So I've got a couple of ideas right now, like I said, with those cards from Spirit Dreams. That might be part of like my morning is drawing those. So yeah, I think that is all I have for you guys. I will talk to you all very soon. Bye.